Greetings, everyone. I hope that you can hear me this time. I had some technical difficulties earlier today, so I am just redoing my podcast, and hopefully, you'll be able to find me. All right, let's get started. Yeah. And if you are able, let me know where you are tuning in from, and if you can hear me. Let me just see here. All right. Okay. All right. I think I'm showing up on Facebook at least. Okay. Whew. Well, welcome. Good day. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm back after a week off. And I guess this is what happens when you get out of a rhythm. My name is Karen Smith Frazier, and welcome to episode 74 of the Karen Smith Frazier podcast. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I was looking through some old photos and found a picture of me breaking boards with my hands and feet. Yes, I'm a martial artist. In the photo, I remembered how humbling that particular test was. I had trained for years in another state and earned a black belt. But when I moved to another state, they did not honor that credential. So I had to start over and prove my worth. Seriously? I loved the sport and went along with the plan. Gained my black belt again. The first time I was over 30, the second time closer to 50. Yes, I was probably the oldest in class, but black belt or not, I wasn't bold enough to ask around to find out if I was the oldest. As we enter this spring season of growth, what are you going for? You are not too old to start something new or revisit a past passion unless you decide that you are too old. For many of us, this season of life is full of transitions, some planned, some not. But if you have to transition into something, it should at least be intentional and not an oops every time. A change is going to come, as Sam Cooke would say. So why not plan for it instead of let's wait and see when we put effort in, including researching, exploring, asking questions, taking classes, or listening to podcasts and workshops. Those are all intentional moves. So I'm glad you're here. Congratulations, you're making some intentional moves. Now, after spending 30 years as a registered nurse, I began to feel a bit restless and frustrated. It's not that I hated the work, it actually was very fulfilling. But preventive health and wellness have been a deep interest throughout my career, and helping folks recognize their own strengths excites me. Those light bulb moments make my day. As a personal development life coach, I get to do that for a living, and I get to commit to being a lifelong learner. When I think about this topic, I am reminded of what my guest, Dr. Sarah Webb, said during her guest appearance on my podcast last month. She said, I'm loyal to my calling, not my job. That means you've got to be aware or at least open to figuring out what your calling is and have fun honing it down. Yes, I taught martial arts for a while, but that was not my lifelong calling. I also drove an after school activity bus. I gained a job, but not a career. There are some things we do and relationships we have that last only a season. Attempting to stop time only postpones the inevitable. You are growing, changing, evolving. The old habits and routines just don't fit anymore. Your needs have changed and you have changed. That's not right or wrong, that's just facts. So, as I transition into a new household, neighborhood, and routines, I am tempted to explore something new that will engage more of my senses, my strengths, and talents. Switching off the fear of the unknown is hard, if not impossible. But here I am making some intentional moves. One of those important moves is actually remembering. Remembering what you've accomplished already in your lifetime. Start listing those things you accomplished as a kid and over the years. Where is that version of you? They are still in you somewhere. Those versions still exist. Now, it may take photos and others who remind me of some of the awesome things I've done, but going back down memory lane doesn't have to be a negative thing. But I won't lie. Memories can bring up moments in life that we'd rather not relive, and we don't have to. Whether it was a trial that you overcame or are overcoming, or an accomplishment that you and maybe a few others know about, just remember. Remember. Number 2, remove. Remove. It wasn't that big of a deal. I did what I had to do from your vocabulary as much as possible. How often do we downplay our roles as breadwinners for our families, parents, or caregivers, or even roles as friendly neighbor, community member, or advocate? As we can see from people who are not taking care of their responsibilities, whether on the personal level or national level, I hope you can recognize that what you have done and are doing is a big deal. This past week, I met a friend of my son who, when he stepped away from the table, mentioned how much my son spoke fondly of his parents. That's me and my husband. This is the kid who, as a toddler, when tucking into bed, I had to ask permission to give a hug or kiss goodnight. Honoring boundaries is really hard for a parent of a cute toddler. But somehow that was the beginning of something that would go with him as an adult. So just remember that those tedious but necessary things you do on the daily are big deals. Number 3, rejoice. You do have much to be grateful for. If you are tuning into this podcast, you've got fingers that allowed you to scroll to my page, ears to listen, and eyes to read and see me. I'm joking here, but isn't it true? I ain't that old, but I have lived a full life and am on a journey to live my life fully. Over the years of living and traveling abroad, I have had to take cold showers, relieve myself in a hole in the ground, drink sun heated water in the middle of a desert on a very hot day. Now, most of us don't have to do these things. I've heard people say, when you've gone without, you appreciate what you have. Be grateful for those things that we take advantage of. Running water, shelter where we feel safe from the elements and or the people inside of that shelter. Loved ones who have nurtured and loved us, both living and deceased. An attitude of gratitude puts things in perspective. My gratitude is a state of being which goes beyond any current circumstance. Yes, I have crappy days, yet in the back of my mind, I first of all don't feel like I'm in it alone. My faith in one who made creation and me just the way I am gives me reason to be grateful and the trust that this too shall pass. What about you? Do you think you deserve to follow your calling too at 40, 50, 16, 29? Waiting until the necessities of life are done is a wasted opportunity for growth and expression. So, as a reminder, remember, remove, and rejoice. Remember where you come from. Yes, that can mean the city or town, but what I mean is you've been created to create, do, and most importantly, be. I get to remind you of that. Take time to remember, and I hope be motivated today. Remember, you've done hard things, creative things, amazing things in life already. Woo, the world is waiting for more, but on your terms this time. Remove those thoughts and mental scripts that belittle yourself and your accomplishments. Just because I see others dealing with a lot more in their lives and holding it together does not mean that my wins are not wins. Comparison of your pain to others as well as your accomplishments to others can give perspective, but that should be it. You are a big deal. Remember that. Notice your limiting beliefs and remove and replace them with ones that recognize your awesomeness. Finally, rejoice in the fact that you have an opportunity to do just that. Gratitude in life, at whatever stage you are in, pushes worry down to a lower realm. Yes, worry and anxiety continue to exist, but if my energy is fed by gratitude, no matter the weather, worries hold on me dwindles. I have found that in the moment, I cannot both worry and have gratitude at the same time. Now, a moment is passing into the next moment. So, yes, I could pick up that worry after that moment of gratitude. But why? Do you believe you got skills that have not been fully tapped and explored? If you don't, borrow my belief in you until you do. Because you have done creative things, hard things, entered into situations where you did not know what you were in for. And here you are today. No matter what, somehow you get results. Keep counting these. Now, I was out to dinner the other day and everyone ordered before me. The server said, "What about you, Mama?" in a friendly way. Mama? I've never been called Mama by a stranger when I was with my adult kids. It made me reflect on how I've earned that title, as well as others, and my efforts to do a good job and to be a decent human being are being noticed. Why would I hide myself from that? No one can decide when your creative juices have run out. You get to make some choices to propel yourself into your next chapter. Maybe that's beyond mama, boss, employee, nurse, daughter, brother, but you get to remember, reframe those negative thoughts that are holding you back and go for it. If this topic resonated for you, let me know in the chat. I'm also hosting a virtual gathering this Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern and 11 a.m. Pacific that will leave you motivated to be open to accepting the fact that you are amazing and life has more amazing things in store for you. I'll break down one theme that you can implement right away to help you remember, release some of the negativity in our lives, and rejoice in the fact that you exist. No oops involved in your creations. Send me a direct message so that I can send you the registration link. Again, 2 p.m. Eastern, which is 11 a.m. Pacific on Wednesday. I chose daytime hours this time because folks get tired in the evening. I wanted you to have some energy for yourself and during the session. So DM me, it's time, or place it in the chat. As always, I remind you to unleash your brilliance and uncover your light as we begin or possibly be ending the day. The world's waiting for you. Take care.